Everyone. I'm sorry this is coming very late. All right, today we want to talk about pivot tables. Pivot tables. I'm sure you've heard of pivot tables and how we can have a pivot table. I mean, how we can create a pivot table. So people call it pivot tables, but whichever, pivot. All right, so now what is the use of a pivot table? A pivot table is used to summarize a large set of data. Okay, it's used to summarize large data sets. For example, if you have thousands or hundreds of entries, for example, this we are using Excel 102 exercises new. Okay, no, Excel. Okay, it's Excel 102 exercises new here with me, but I've given you this worksheet, so it should be Excel 102 exercises. That should be the name you have. Okay, I have hundreds. How many? I have about 445 entries here. Okay, excuse me. So remember, the name of the worksheet is Excel 102 exercises. So, excuse me. I want to summarize this data now. For example, I want to give a summary of this data set, and I need a table that can do that for me at a glance. So I will use pivot tables. How do I go about that? You click inside this table, then go to the insert tab. You see the first section there, the first subgroup there. You see pivot table. Click on the pivot table. All right, you have this dialog box. It says choose the data that you want to analyze. And this is the data it has already selected. Can you see some serrated, can you see serrated lines all around the boundary of this data set? So it has already selected the range. So you leave it like that. Then it says choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Is it new worksheet or existing worksheet? I will recommend new worksheet. If you put it in existing worksheet, it may look messy and all that. So I always recommend using a new worksheet. So leave it like that, and then click on OK. All right, so you have a new worksheet created here. Now, let me move this away from here. Okay. All right. So now we have this. You see, you have these over here, and you have the one on the right hand side here. Pivot table fields. These are the fields. These are the. If you look at the original table, you see you have the year, month, type, salesperson, region, sales units, order. That's exactly what you have here: year, month, type, salesperson. Okay, the columns, the columns. All right. So this you have them here, highlighted here. So how do you do this? So what you do, remember I want to summarize this large data set. I want to summarize this. So now you see we have some sections here. This instruction says drag fields between areas below. So that means you can drag all these fields into any of these sections. Now we have the first one is filters, the second one is columns, the third one is rows, and the fourth one is values. Now, usually this values section is where you should drag values that have figures. Okay, if you want to sum, you want to, for example, values that have figures like sales. Okay, if you have values like sales, that's you drag it into this values section because he's either going to sum it for you or give you the average or count, give it the count function or whichever. So let's now drag the sales into these values. You see what's going to happen? Okay, automatically it is giving you the sum of all the sales. All the sales is it has automatically sum it. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. Now let's okay, the salesperson represents each salesperson. Let's put it in the columns here. Okay. Now you discover that the sales, um, because we dragged this salesperson in the columns, it has categorized the sales under each salesperson. Okay, what each salesperson sold. Now let's also drag another thing. Let's drag the month into the rows. Okay, it's looking perfect now. So does this make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me just let me highlight this and drag this away from there to this place so that you can see. All right, that's fine. So now you have the January. So these are the salesperson. Okay, so these are the sales people or salespersons. All right, so this is what they sold in, and these are the months they sold all the items they sold. So let's see another thing. Let's drag region into the months. All right, this is making more sense now. So for the month of January in this region, central, north, southwest, this person, okay, this person sold this, and so this basically means that now when you look at this critically for January, this is the total, okay, this is total for January, and this is also the total for January. Okay, this person Lee sold this in January. Parker also sold this in January. Pauline also sold this in January. Watson also sold this in January. Now, this is a breakdown of the regions where they sold all these things. So, Lee sold in the central region. Parker sold this in the north region. Pauline sold this in the south region.